Today, we're upgrading your sewing room in the prettiest way possible. If your sewing room feels cluttered, uninspiring, or just a little chaotic, it quietly slows you down. Today, we're changing that. I'm sharing a few quick sewing room hacks using items you may already have, plus simple projects you can sew to make your space prettier, more organized, and way more functional. Because when your sewing room feels beautiful and calm, you sit down faster, you stay longer, and you finish more projects. Let's turn your sewing space into a place that makes you actually want to create. The first project I'm going to show you today is this little Scissor Cozy. This fits your sewing scissors and has a little snap to keep them safe and out of the hands of people that want to cut paper. I also love this for travel since it has a soft bottom. Your scissors will be safe and nice in any bag. Start by printing out the pattern for this from my website. The link is in the description below. There are 3 sizes you can make for all types of scissors. I'm going to make a standard 8-inch scissor. That is like the standard sewing scissor size. Grab some ribbon. This will be for a little loop. And then we'll need 2 fabrics, base spray, and batting. We're also going to use snaps for this project, and I like to have a fabric marker on hand as well. I will link to these snaps in the description too. We're going to start by cutting a piece of batting and a piece of fabric big enough to cut out 2 of these pattern pieces. So I'm just kind of eyeing it. I'm going to cut this bigger than I need, and then we'll cut the actual pattern pieces out later. Spray baste these layers together and then let that spray base set for a second. Now take this to your sewing machine and do whatever stitching pattern you want to quilt these layers together. I just did a crazy kind of random quilt pattern. This will give your project a quilted look and is really cute. You can also do straight lines, a grid, or whatever you choose. Now we're going to use our pattern piece to cut out 2 of these pattern pieces. They are sort of shaped like a coffin, so we're going to cut one out with the top flap and then one without. For the second one, I just like to fold that flap over so I can use this pattern again. Once you have your front and back from your main fabric with the batting on the back, cut a front and back with your lining. Now we'll start assembling this little scissor pouch. So grab your piece of ribbon, place the front of the main on the back, and then cut your ribbon down to 5 inches and create a little loop. And we're just going to stick this right in between those 2 pieces. I like to angle it up a little bit and then pin it in between the 2 layers of the main fabric. Repeat with your lining pieces and then go ahead and sew those sides up around the edges with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. But on the lining, we're going to leave a little bit of an opening for turning. Once you've done that, turn your lining right side out. Now we're going to push the lining into the main piece. We're going to leave that inside out. I like to use a chopstick to get this right down at the bottom. We want to align the opening edges together, making sure that our ribbon is out of the way and then pinning those seam allowances together. Now go ahead and sew around that opening 1/4 inch from the edges, making sure to pivot at that corner and at all the points. We're not going to leave an opening here because we have an opening in our lining. So before we turn this right side out, go ahead and clip the bottom of this Scissor Cozy just to clip those corners and trim the seam allowance down a little bit. Then you're going to want to clip into that little corner where the flap meets the rest of the pouch and notch out some of that fabric. It gets pretty thick with all the layers, so by notching and clipping, we're going to have a smoother finish to our little flap. Now pull out your lining and turn the whole thing right side out through that hole. Your Scissor Cozy will look a little bit like this. Before we move on, we're going to just grab that lining, press it, and top stitch to hold it closed. Now we can push the lining into the main fabric using a chopstick to get everything where it should go. Press the Scissor Cozy and make sure to press the flap part really well so that it is nice and smooth. Now top stitch around your whole opening, including the front, and then give it another press. The last step is to add our snap, so I like to use a fabric marker to kind of make my placement on the flap when it's folded over, and then use my cam snap tool and snaps to place the top snap. Once the top snap is in, I like to just fold over my pouch and push that snap down pretty well to leave an indent in the fabric, and then go over it with a marker and place the other side of the snap. And then once your snap is in, your pouch is ready to go. This is a great way to say, keep your hands off my fabric scissors, and also a nice way to travel with scissors so that it doesn't poke through your bag. My first quick sewing room hack is to use an ice tray for bobbin storage. These little compartments are perfect to hold your bobbin thread in a way that you can see it all and know where it is. I love this for when I have to change my threads out, and if you need a lot of extra space for white threads, these little compartments hold up to 5 bobbins. I got this ice tray at Walmart and I like it because it has a lid to keep my bobbin thread in place. And it's so great because I can pull this out, change my thread quickly, and it takes a lot of stress out of bobbin storage. The next project I'm going to show you is this little fabric catch-all tray. This is so fun to make out of your favorite fabrics, and it's great for a catch-all tray right next to your sewing machine. You can use this for all types of organization though throughout your whole house. Download the pattern for this project on my website. I will leave the link in the description. We're going to need 2 fabrics for this and some stiffened felt. If you don't have stiffened felt, you can also use a thick or sturdy interfacing. Use the pattern piece to cut out 2 pieces of fabric and 1 piece of felt or interfacing on the fold. Because the felt is a little bit stiff, this is how I like to cut it out. I like to just fold it in half and draw it with a fabric marker and then cut out that outline. But you can do this however you want. Once you have your 3 layers, we're gonna put one of our fabrics face up on top of the felt or interfacing. Just line up those corners as best you can. My felt turned out a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna center this and I will trim off the excess after. And then put your other fabric right on top of that. So you're gonna have 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together, with the piece of felt or interfacing on the back. Now sew around the edges with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving an opening on one of the sides. Now we are going to prep this before turning right side out. So the first thing is to clip into those corners and then taper off some of that seam allowance. And we're going to do that for all the points and corners. And then if your interfacing or felt was too big like mine, just trim that down too. Now find your opening and turn this right side out through that hole you left. Give this a really good press, focusing on the edges and that opening. Now top stitch around the edge of the box 1/8 inch from the edges, and you will end up closing that opening as you sew. Now decide which print you want inside your box and lay that face up. The last step is to sew the corners together, so fold them up like this, and then we're going to back stitch up both ends and sew really close to the edge. After you've done that for all 4 sides, your box is ready to use. This makes a super cute catch-all for right next to your sewing machine. You can also use this for a jewelry box or other organization. My second quick sewing room hack is to use binder clips to hold ribbon and bias tape pieces. I love my main ribbon storage for spools, but I always find myself with little pieces or lengths that don't really fit on a spool, so this hack is for those pieces. You can use any size binder clips for this, and I actually like to have a bunch of different sizes for different things, and just wrap up your extra ribbon or your bias tape that has fallen off your board and just clip that with the end and it's ready to go. This works for binding, bias tape, ribbons, anything like that. So here's what my typical ribbon end basket would look like before and after. I just don't have to spend time untangling or searching. I can see everything, and this is just a super quick, easy hack you can implement right away. And finally, I'm going to show you how to make a sewing machine dust cover. This makes your sewing machine the focal point of your sewing room and protects it from dust. We are going to start with a jelly roll. I'm using this Liberty floral one. We're not going to use the whole thing, so you'll have lots left over for other projects. And then you can print the template from my website. The link's in the description below. This has the side and the pocket, and then we'll create the front panel. We'll need 1 yard of quilting cotton for the lining and 1/2 yard for the sides, or you can just use jelly roll fabric for that too. We're going to also use batting and a thick interfacing to stabilize it, and spray based. And then just grab some extra fabric for the pocket if you are going to be doing the pocket on the side. Open up your jelly roll. I equally love and hate this part because they're so pretty and cute wrapped up. And then grab just a bunch of different prints. We're gonna stack them and trim these down. I like to stack a couple different prints right on top of each other and then grab my ruler and trim off the edges. And then we're gonna cut these down to 6-inch pieces. We need 76 pieces that are 6 inches long, so keep cutting your fabrics until you have that many, and there will be lots of repeats in here, and that is okay. So once you have 76, we're going to start sewing these together. Now we're going to sew the strips together along the short edges to create long strips with 4 or 5 of these pieces in each, and you can just do this by putting your pieces in the sewing machine. You don't have to pin, you don't have to set them up, just start sewing 2 together, do chain sewing, which means sew 2, sew 2, sew 2, sew 2, and so on. And then once you've done a bunch of those, pull them out, you'll see that they're chained together with a thread. Cut these apart, and then we're going to sew them together to create longer strips. We're going to need strips of 4 and strips of 5. We need a total of 17 strips, 9 with 4 and 8 with 5 pieces. Now we're going to sew these strips together, starting with a 4-piece strip and then alternating with a 5-piece strip. We're going to center the block of the second row into a half brick pattern. So align the center of those bricks just to offset it to create that half brick pattern, and then you can pin these together and sew. So the seam will be in the middle of the block above. Once you've sewn them all together, your panel will look like this. You can see how it's starting to shape up. Press the seam allowances all in one direction. Grab a long ruler, and we're going to trim off that excess on the sides and square up our panel. Lay your panel on a piece of batting, and we're going to spray base this down to keep them together. Trim off the excess batting. Now we're going to sew these layers together with top stitching right along those strips. So I like to put this into my sewing machine and just sew on the side of the strip about a 1/4 inch from the seam. This will keep all the fabrics together and also give it a really cute quilted look. When you get towards the end, you can roll up your panel so that it fits through your sewing machine. Once you're done with that, your panel should look something like this. Give it a good press, and then we are going to grab our lining fabric and cut a piece out to match this panel. I just like to use my panel as my pattern piece to cut the same size for my lining. Set the lining piece aside for now. Now we're going to work on the sides. Grab your pattern piece, your side fabric, and some batting, and we're just kind of rough cut a piece of batting and fabric together that is big enough for our pattern piece. We need 2 of these, so repeat the process. Baste these layers together with spray baste. Now we're going to quilt the top of these side panels like we did with our main panel. Since I don't have seams to follow, I like to draw a grid pattern. I'm using my 3-inch ruler to draw lines diagonally, and then I'm going to do them perpendicular across the other way, and then just trace these lines with my sewing machine to get that cool grid. Once you've done that, you can pin your pattern piece right on top of that and cut out 2 side pieces. Once you're done with that, we're going to set one of them aside and create a pocket for the other one. You can do 2 pockets on this or no pockets. I like to just do 1 pocket, so I interfaced my pocket fabric and then I'm cutting it out on the fold. So you can just fold your pattern piece, that way you can keep it if you're going to sew this again another time, and then place that line on the fold and cut out the pocket. Top stitch along that fold about 1/8 of an inch from it to keep those layers together, and then we're going to grab a side and align this with the bottom and then baste it on close to those edges, and that will be our side piece with our pocket. Now use one of your sides to cut out 2 pieces from the lining fabric, and now we can start assembly. Stay stitch around the side pieces, especially around the curve. Stay stitching is regular length stitching, 3/8 inch from the edge. This will help us guide our curve into our main panel. Line up the side piece with the bottom of your panel, and we're going to sew the long edge of the panel onto this side piece. So pin it up to where the straight line ends, and once it starts to curve, we're going to start curving the panel with it, putting in lots and lots of pins to keep that where we want it. Once you have all those pins in, we're going to sew this with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now we're going to clip and notch around this curve. There's going to be too much fabric when we turn this right side out, so notching out some of those chunks of fabric is going to help this lie flat and give us a nice curved sewing machine cover. Sew the other side on, and something I forgot to mention is that this panel with the jelly roll strips is going to be too long. You'll have about an inch left over after you sew the sides on. So just go ahead and trim off that little excess piece. Now your main panel is done. We're going to go ahead and repeat the process with the lining fabrics, but first use interfacing to interface those lining pieces and then assemble the same way you did with the main panel. With your lining inside out and your main piece right side out, stick the main inside the lining and line up all those seams. I like to put some pins around this, even though it's a pretty straight seam that we're sewing. Putting pins in where those seam allowances are will keep things nice and even. And then go ahead and sew around the entire bottom of this with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, leaving about a 5 or 6 inch opening on one of the long edges. Now use that opening to turn this right side out, and then you'll have a whole bunch of fabric. So we're going to push the lining into the main and try to line up that bottom edge. Use an iron to make sure these edges are lined up and pulled out. When you get to the opening, make sure you press that well and then put a few pins in there to hold it. Now we're going to top stitch around this entire thing about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Give it a final press, and then an optional last step is to tack the fabrics together at the top just to keep the layers aligned. And now your dust cover is ready to be put on your sewing machine. This pocket is great for scissors or rotary cutters, and this will keep your sewing machine safe and looking cute. Thanks for sewing with me today. For more sewing room hacks, click the video above.